Hey everyone, happy Sunday. This is Jennifer Edwards coming to you from Central New Jersey, where I live. If you don't know me already, I live with my husband and my 3 little boys. I have a 2.5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an almost 10-year-old. I wanted to share a little bit of a story with you today, and I'm hoping that none of my kids come out. It's actually nap time. And, I have one that's napping. The other 2 are occupying themselves, and we know how that goes. We don't know how long it's going to last. So until they come out, I'm going to do my best to get all of this out. My background is in corporate America, specifically executive compensation, equity compensation. If you work for a company that gives you stock options, that's kind of what I do for a living. Up until 2 years ago, I worked in New York City, and while I was paid very well, the commuting really stunk, and I was gone for 12 hours a day. I missed out on a lot of things that happened in my kids' lives while I was working there, and the work was very high pressure, lots of deadlines, lots of politics. So anyway, I really didn't like corporate America very much, to be completely honest with you. It really took a toll on me too, with 2 kids, and then I was pregnant with a 3rd, and I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So, I wanted to really wanted to make working from home work for me, because the only way that I've been able to do that and get out of corporate America is really due to network marketing. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my story behind my hustle, if you will. I want to tell you a little bit about why I got involved in direct sales and network marketing. And yes, I do have notes here because I don't want to skip around and I don't want to forget anything. So really, I've been asked by a lot of people over the past few years. I've been in network marketing almost 4 years, and I've been asked, why do you work so hard? Why is a 9 to 5 not good enough? Why do you take time away from your family, which I really don't anymore, but we'll get to that. And I just kind of wanted to tell you my story as a way of getting that message out, just because I've been asked by so many people. So first of all, I have a little bit of background here on my family. I actually have 2 little boys that are on the autism spectrum, and I have a 3rd, and they also have sensory processing disorder and also ADHD. So it's been a little bit of a challenge. It's a challenge at home, never mind school, bringing school into this whole thing and everything else. And then my 3rd actually has food allergies. So we have a lot of involvement with a lot of specialists, a lot of doctors, frankly, my reasons do get stronger as time goes on, why I'm in this business, why I choose to start a business from home and run a business from home and really work it hard, because of my kids. Really, I just want to be home with them, in a nutshell. I originally started in network marketing, like I said, almost 4 years ago, when I had one child who just started private OT for what we thought was just sensory processing disorder at the time. And that cost us about between $500 and $600 a month. So, and it's not covered by insurance. It has never been covered by insurance for us. So the private OT, I really just wanted to cover the expense of that and not have it come out of our vacation fund, because frankly, we do live for vacation in this family. It is the only time that we don't have things pulling us in 100 different directions, and where we spend time together and we eliminate electronics for a good portion of every day. So we really do love vacation. I wanted to cover that expense for us and help us stay ahead. And granted, I was making great money in New York, but we needed a little extra for that. So just fast forward a little bit, I've been very blessed to live right next door to my parents, and my parents have essentially, since my oldest was born nearly 10 years ago, my parents have essentially functioned as our nanny. They took care of a lot of things because I was just not available. Working in New York, I was gone for 12 hours a day. They brought my kids to school, they brought my kids home, they took my kids to doctor's appointments occasionally when I couldn't get time off. But I had a wake-up call shortly after my first born got his diagnosis, and before the second was diagnosed and the third was even born. So he was 6. I don't even think I was pregnant yet. Maybe I was, whatever. But anyway, he was 6. He was kicked out of our town recreation camp for biting a counselor for restraining him from playing in a water fountain. And if you know anything about autism, you know, like my kids have a lot of this fight or flight thing going on, especially him. For some reason, you know, he's always been the one that really was hit the hardest with that. So he felt like he was in danger by being restrained. He needed to get away. That was how he got away. So anyway, we had to find a new camp really fast because we couldn't have my kids without a routine. It just doesn't work for us at all. They lose their minds if they have no routine during the summer. So we found another, which we expected to be a better fit. My mom actually took him there for his first day because I was working in New York City, and he was instantly overwhelmed. Even though he had played in the park there and everything beforehand, they brought him a little early. He was overwhelmed by all of the kids and all of the chaos when they were trying to get them to gather in groups for this camp, and he was totally overwhelmed and ran off. He had like a major fight or flight meltdown, ran off towards the woods, and you know, my mom had to basically rein him in, and you know, thankfully she was only dealing with him at the time, and my middle son was not with them. He was actually at daycare, thank goodness. But you know, that event really changed everything for me because my parents are in their 70s. They shouldn't be having to deal with this. I felt like as the mom, this was my responsibility to really be the person that had to take my kids when they're experiencing something for the first time. You know, I felt like this was supposed to be my role, and I really needed to do it. So that was really my wake-up call, and that was really when network marketing became much more important to me. Besides wanting to take them when they experience new things, I wanted to be the one that took them to their doctor's appointments. I wanted to not miss 12 hours a day of my children's childhood. And so, you know, it all happened to work out pretty well because I did have my third child. I went back to work for 2 months, and then they eliminated my job. I think my boss at the time was super surprised that I did not freak out, and I actually jumped up and down for joy. It's ridiculous, but true. And so, you know, very interesting how the universe kind of delivers. I wanted a way out. I got my way out. So I've been very blessed since then to take on some consulting work, and so I do consulting for a firm that does align me with clients, and I've been supporting the same clients for nearly 2 years now. But I do average less than 10 hours a week of work, and it's still demanding, and they want me to take on a lot more, but frankly, I just don't have the ability to commit to any more than that around my family. And then besides that, with the consulting, it's great because it does take a lot of things out of the equation, like office politics and things like that. But I don't ever know when I'm going to be paid. I don't get paid until my clients pay their invoices. And so, you know, that's a little bit of a challenge. I mean, you know, we're at least 60 days out from me doing the work. So if I need to bring in some extra income for something special, I don't have the ability through consulting to work really hard this week and therefore, you know, in a week or two get paid more. I don't have that ability. And so what network marketing really has done for me is fill in the gaps there. And when I do need money, when there's something special going on, I can kick it up a notch, and I know that I will get paid for my efforts, which is really great. So my old company really did help fill in the gaps for us for a while, but 3 years in, I discovered that I really didn't enjoy the journey anymore. We had weekly events 2 to 3 nights a week. that we were expected to go to between training and home parties and things like that. Sometimes it was more like 5 nights a week, and calls and things like that. It really started out as what I thought was a home business, but it turned into not being a home-based business because I was not home. And my husband had to cover bedtime a lot. I spent a lot of time running around sample bottles. I spent a lot of time having to pick them up, sometimes from as far away as 45 minutes each way. And that took time away from my family. And so, you know, sometimes I brought them with me, but, you know, it was hard with bedtime and things like that, and keeping my kids on a schedule just wasn't always possible. So I spent a lot of time by myself in my car. I'm glad I don't do that anymore. But anyway, in addition to that, I really did spend a lot of time servicing my customers, because the company didn't do much of this. Once you had a customer, basically you needed to follow up with them. You needed to make sure everything was going well. And I did spend a lot of time on customer service line for them and things like that. I spent a lot of my own money buying my own samples, mailing them out, lots of time following up with people, and then only to discover over time that I really couldn't make a good income without recruiting. And that was really difficult, because it's very difficult to recruit when you have a high startup cost for a company. Yes, it could be very well worth that money, but when you understand that most people are not natural born recruiters, they are also going to have a difficult time recruiting. I never considered myself a good recruiter, and so, you know, it was a struggle for me. It was definitely a struggle for me, and I really wasn't making the kind of money that I was hoping to make, right? I didn't want to add more people to my team just to deal with that. Also, it was very difficult to earn just by bringing on customers, and so I really stopped trying, and I think it really showed towards the end, you know, it just in my numbers, in how I did, in my enthusiasm, lots of other things. So fast forward to discovering my current company. Because of the autism, because of the food allergies, because of eczema in my family, we already started living a much cleaner lifestyle about 2 years ago, when I had a clue that my youngest had milk allergies, right? So he is allergic to milk and eggs. We started eating a lot more fruits and vegetables, started to do a lot of those meal delivery kits, whatever. Just eating better, more whole foods. It was easy for me to be open to swapping out our products for much cleaner versions of and non-toxic versions of the same products that we already used. So I was immediately drawn in this company to the fact that you don't need to recruit in order to have success. You can earn a very great income just by being a customer gatherer, and also monthly bonuses on top of your regular commissions. So it's been really good for that. I was burned out at the time that I joined. Really didn't have any interest in building a team, because it was a struggle before, and I just, you start to tend to get down on yourself and think, wow, well, maybe this whole recruiting thing just isn't for me, but I know that I can get customers. So that's kind of where I was heading, and then it just happened, and I have the most amazing team here, the most amazing team. But anyway, since getting on board, I really have had a lot of customers who have joined my team, which has never happened before. It's very interesting how that's how I was always told that it should have been. And oops, sorry, my papers are blowing around. The money is great, but what I really love most about my new gig is just the simplicity. I basically get paid to refer people to an e-commerce site that sells only non-toxic products that they use every day. Laundry detergent, everybody uses it. Everybody uses toothpaste, shampoo, and conditioner, and they're amazing. They really are awesome products. I frankly haven't tried anything that I don't like, which is good and bad, but if I'm already using these products every day, what's the harm in buying them for myself? So that's kind of where I'm at. I really don't have any obligation at all to leave home. and that is important to me. I really have built a great business from my phone and around my family, while I'm at home, while I'm at doctor's appointments, waiting rooms, while I'm at extracurricular activities with my kids, while I am, waiting in my car for God knows what. I've been able to build a really great business. And so if you wanted to know the reason behind my hustle, there it really is. I mean, I'm really incentivized by being home with my kids, being here for my kids while I can be, while they're young, while I'm able to have an impact on them. We've just really scratched the surface of services that we need to get my kids, and so, being home is really going to enable me to be able to support that process, because I have a feeling that our lives are going to get a lot more busy when we start introducing things like ABA therapy, which we've been talking about for a long time and just haven't acted on. So I need to get that ball rolling now while they're young, while they're still moldable. I need to do it. So I could very well go back to working 9 to 5. In a lot of ways, I think it would be so much easier, and I would get my lunch hours back, and I would have a little bit of free time and a little bit of commuting decompression time. But I want to make this work, and so while it's not easy to manage everything that my children do require, I couldn't imagine not being the one that has to be here for them. So I just wanted to wrap this up by saying my little side business, it did bring in 50% of my New York City income in May, which was only my 3rd month with the company. So I think we're in a great place. I think it's, and I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that I really truly feel that grateful, especially from my customers who have believed in me and believed in the products that I'm telling you about. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled. I'm super excited to see where this business takes us. I'm super excited to see my team winning the way that they've been winning. In a nutshell, I just certainly couldn't manage my life and the lifestyle that we've been blessed with without my social marketing gig here. So I just wanted to share with you, anyone have questions, let me know. I see a lot of joys. I don't see comments, but if you want to know more, definitely drop me a comment. I'll give you more information about the products. I can share with you a link that you can use to get $10 off your first purchase. And again, I really do appreciate all of the support that I've had so far from so many of you. So thank you so much, and have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.